Welcome everyone to another episode of The Unconventional Path. And you saw the title. Today we are talking about how I experienced Aruba luxuriously for free, for the free 99, okay? So before I get into the story, I want to shout out G Studios. Thank you so much for allowing us to be able to shoot our episodes. And a big thank you to our makeup artist, LaShann Ferguson, LaShann MUA. Make sure to hit her up. So, to the Aruba story, how I experienced Aruba for free. So let me tell you. So you guys know I went to ROI in Puerto Rico, and I remember going to ROI saying that I wanted to network and meet people that were doing their thing. So during the intros on the Facebook group before we went, I started to look at the intros from others and see, okay, who did I want to meet based on what they did? So there was this lady named Erin, and I was like, okay, she's doing her thing. I want to put her on my list as someone I want to meet. She seems like someone who's very savvy in business and has her ish together. So I'm gonna need to meet her. So I meet Erin at ROI. I have a few conversations with her. I found out about her pricing business. She was a business coach that taught business owners how to price properly. That was always a big concern for me. When my brother was alive, that was a question I called him with all the time when it was time to put out a quote. And so learning how to price properly, I was like very interested. Then she also talks about her retreat business. And I was asking her some questions because I thought about, like, at one point in my life, I would love to do retreats because I love to travel. I've traveled to 5 continents out of 7 continents around the world. I'm big on travel and I love community. And so I was like, that is something that I would love to do one day. Not today, but one day. I also feel like if you want to offer a service, you should experience it first. You want to offer an international conference, you need to at least attend an international conference first. If you want to, like, I feel like if you want to charge a high ticket item, like, you just have to experience what it's about before you go and do it yourself. So I said, you know, I would love to go on one of your retreats one day. Again, one day in the future. I just met her in January. ROI was a huge investment. And so this was just like trying to make networks and connections, and maybe sometime in life I'll see her. A few weeks later, maybe 2 weeks later, she puts out on Facebook, because I'm a Facebook friend and I'm in the ROI group with her, that she's giving away a free scholarship. Let me tell you how much these things cost. So the rooms for Aruba range from $5,000 to about $9,000. And that's for the whole entire experience, for the room, for the private chef, for the tour experiences that you would go on. All of that is from between like $5,000 to $9,000 for that people were paying for this. So she was giving away a room for free because there was a participant who can no longer attend. And instead of just trying to get a refund, she wanted to gift it to someone else. So I applied right away. You only had 24 hours to apply. I quickly searched, like, would I be able to go to Aruba next week? Because you do have to pay for your flight. And that was something she told me from ROI, that as a retreat person, it's best that if you pay and curate the entire retreat once the person arrives at the destination. But when you get into flights, it can get complicated. So if you're thinking of planning a retreat, that's a lesson that you should know. So anyway, she said she's gonna announce the winner the next day. And that means like in 3 or 4 days, I would have to go to Aruba. So I'm listening while she's on live on Facebook, and she starts talking about how the person that they chose for the recipient went through a hard time during COVID and really wanted to come because they needed community. Friends, I was like, so I didn't win then, because I had nothing like that in my application. So I was like, okay, I didn't win. So she calls the person who's the winner. She's like, Angelique, you're the winner. And I'm like, yay, I'm live. And I'm in the chat like, yay, Angelique, yay, you. So happy for you. I said, you're blessed. You're so blessed that you get this opportunity. And then she says, but wait, there's more. There were so many great applicants, so many great women who we feel can benefit from this experience. We decided to give one spot away. Hold the phone down. Shut the door. I was like, what? Are you kidding me?
But guess what? We couldn't just pick one person. We couldn't pick one person. Okay, I know this is a sold out retreat, but we chose a second recipient. I know. So hold on for this. Here's the deal. It's not a private room with an ensuite bath. I upgraded the house, and when I upgraded the house came with an extra room. The extra room is a bunk bed room. I originally was not going to open up the bunk bed room, and then I decided, you know what? I'll open it up. I had one person get in on that, so there's one person in the bunk bed room, but I wanted to invite this second person to join us. And so we are giving her, I know it's a bunk bed, it's not like super luxurious, but if you're okay to sleep on a bunk bed, our second recipient is Corel Pinder. Corel, we wanted you to come because your business, Island Dreams Management, is exactly what our Aruba retreat is about. We also want you to meet Amara Brown. We want you to be able to see what she is doing in Aruba so that you too are able to do it in the Bahamas. And so congratulations. We're giving away 2 retreat spots, one to Angelique Velez, who's getting the private room with ensuite bath, and the second to Corel Pinder, who is coming as long as you're cool to sleep on a bunk bed, okay? I know, Corel, yay!
I'm on live and she's like, and the winner is Corel Pinder. I was like, telling my people, I was like, I'm going to Aruba. My parents were like, you literally just came back from Puerto Rico. What do you mean you're going to Aruba? I'm like, I'm going to Aruba next week. Next week, buddy, I'm going to Aruba. So I pack up my bags and I go to Aruba and I was super excited. So day one, I had several hours. I was in the airport. And before I went, I had a friend tell me, did you ever use the lounges that are in the airport? I'm like, I am Miss Frugal. I don't use the lounges. I wait and I charge my phone on the side and I hope somebody doesn't steal my stuff when I go to the bathroom. In fact, I take them with me to the bathroom. I don't the lounge, no. So he was like, you should try it. So I was like, I don't know about that. I'll see. So I go and my sister was like, you have several hours in there. I don't really suggest. I suggest you go to the lounge. I'm like, what's with this lounge thing? I don't think I have money for this. She was like, try it out. So I go to a restaurant and my food is going to be like $25 for breakfast. I was like, oh, heck no, I'm not paying that. So my sister was like, go to the lounge. The lounge for half day is like $56, guys. Guys, if you have never gone to one of the lounges in the airport, if you're gonna be there for several hours and you drink, I don't drink. Like, I don't drink and I don't eat dessert. So you have an open bar, you have meals. I had breakfast and I had lunch. You have dessert, you have unlimited water. It's a very safe environment, so you can leave your bags and go to the bathroom. You can plug up and do work. It was like a beautiful experience. So if you've never used the lounges, that's a little tip. Use one of the lounges. It's worth it. If it's about 3 or more hours. If it's about 3 or more hours, you're gonna be in the airport. I don't suggest you hack it. If you can afford it, do the lounges. Anyway, let's get to Aruba. So there were several ladies that were on my flight. We had a chat group before we went. So I met up with them before we went and it was just instant connection. Like, what I loved about this Aruba trip, even ROI is just, but Aruba trip because we were in the same house, you know, you got a lot of feminine energy, 8 women in a house. I don't know you for 4 or 5 days. I don't know, it could be a recipe for disaster, but it was so good. It was so good. It was women of all ethnicities. There were Caucasian women, there were Black women, there were Latin women. It was very diverse, but it worked out. Like, I don't know how long, like if you go past 4 or 5 days, but it was good. It was good. So we clicked in the airport and we arrived and we're so excited. We catch a taxi. That was a good experience. Aruba felt like an island. I told you all about Puerto Rico. I didn't feel like I was going into island. It still, you know, has Americanized, you know, places, but it felt more like an island. And I went to the other side of Aruba where you could see more of the native island feel versus the tourist feel. So it felt great. We got to Aruba. So the first night we came in, everyone met everyone and we had the welcome dinner, but I wasn't able to be at the welcome dinner long because, as you know, this was a trip that I found out about 4 or 5 days before. And so I had to host a webinar for a client that night. So I finish a dinner earlier than everybody. I just introduce myself. We do a round robin. I go first. I hear everybody, but I don't really get to sit. We had a private chef, guys. The food was great, but I didn't get to really indulge like everybody else because I had to go to do the webinar. But it was good. It was good. Like the private chef, I was like, yes to this food. So I go to the webinar. I'm leading the webinar and I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I got to do my webinar because, you know, it's online. So I get to be in Aruba and do my webinar. So I do all the beginnings, they start speaking, and it's time for question and answer. I review everything that I liked about their presentation, and the Wi-Fi goes off. Guys, this is a paid client that I am hosting this webinar for, and in the middle of asking their guest questions, the Wi-Fi goes off. I'm like, what is wrong? And it's a luxury property that we are on. And I'm like, how is their Wi-Fi going down? So I'm running around the house like, this is a client, I need to get back on the call. I've been shut off. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And so she gives me her phone, the person who's in charge of the retreat, her name is Erin. Erin, shout out to Erin and Luxury Business and Travel. Thank you, you guys are so amazing. And shout out to Amara from Connecting in Aruba who curated all of our experiences. So anyway, so Erin's trying to help me out. So she gives me her phone to hotspot so I can get back on. The guests are now leaving leading the meeting. I'm supposed to be leading the meeting, the host, but the guests are not the host. They're so busy answering questions and feeding the questions that they don't see I'm trying to get back in the room. So I'm contacting people trying to tell the guests that let me back in the room. I finally get back in the room, but we still can't find out why the internet went down in the house. I don't care anymore. I'm back in. I just want to end this meeting. I just want to be able to wrap up the meeting. So she goes on her phone while I'm hotspotting from her phone to call the owners of the Airbnb to find out why the internet is off. I said, "You're cutting me." She cut me off. So because she goes on her phone, I'm now off of the Wi-Fi. I said, "You have to get off your phone." She finally gets off her phone, and then I rush to get back in there. I get back at the very end. They're like, "Well, we're gonna end the meeting because we don't see Corel here." And so I'm here, and I close the meeting out, and I'm just like so embarrassed. So anyway, I was like super embarrassed, but anyway, we were able to figure out that somebody went in their room and they pulled a plug because they thought it was the plug for the TV, but they actually pulled out the internet plug. And that is why I was cut off my meeting, because someone was charging their phone where the internet plug was. So that was night one. Anyway, we got past night one, and I think day two was my favorite day. We had workshop businesses, and if you go to retreats for the workshops, the retreats are not for you, okay? So we found out that people who come for the workshops, that's not the main reason, but that's why I went, because I really wanted that information. And I was able to build out my sales funnel. What I liked about the retreat workshops versus going to a conference is you learn the information from the presenter, then you get to workshop the information you learn, then you come back to the workshop and you share everything that you're about to do in your business with everyone else, and they give you critiques. So that was great. And then in that afternoon, some of them went to the beach. I'm from the Bahamas. Going to the beach wasn't that much to me. So hanging out with Erin and one of the other ladies were great. They learned a lot more about me, and they were, let's just say, I have an unconventional life. As you guys know from my channel, I have a very unconventional life, and I guess that they just didn't know or realize that, I kind of live life differently. So we had a lot of laughs of them learning more about me and the unconventional path that I travel on. And that evening, I went to dinner with some of the other ladies, and that was amazing. So day three, we had a workshop on learning about pricing, and that was really good from Erin. Then we did the photo shoot. I think this was my favorite day, because we had a photo shoot. We did a lifestyle photo shoot at the property. And then after that, we went out for drinks and cocktail hour somewhere. It was really nice. And then we did karaoke. Karaoke was so good. I was singing Toni Braxton. I was singing Bob Marley. That was my best night. That was day three. Day three was my favorite day, because we had a workshop in the morning learning about pricing, and then we did the photo shoot, and then we went to the cocktail. And then the next day we did an entire tour, and it was also a funny moment because they had, I think they were like empanadas, but I didn't order that. I ordered a smoothie, and I was like, "Why don't I have an empanada?" And they were like, "Because you chose smoothie." I was like, "I chose smoothie." They pulled up my form, they pulled their cards, and I chose smoothie. But the other thing that they had that day during the tour, and I think this is something that we could do in the Bahamas, I was telling people that I'm a part of a group of creative professionals in the Bahamas, and I was like, I did an entire tour for 2 hours in Aruba, and it was just murals. And I'm like, that is so something we could do in the Bahamas. It was just murals of different places in Aruba, and that was the tour. It was really good. It was really amazing, but it made me realize we could be showing off the artists from the Bahamas, and we could have something like this in the Bahamas. So I thought that was really great. And then the final day we went back, and I was supposed to connect with a friend that I did a pageant with in 2009. So she messaged me the day before. We also went to the parade. We also went to the parade the night before the final day. So we went to the parade. It's not Junkanoo. It's not really carnival either. I don't think they call it carnival. They just call it parade. It's not, it was nice. It was nice, but it's not carnival, it's not Junkanoo. And Junkanoo, we're used to the big costumes. But what I would say that I did like about their parade was that the advertisers get their money worth. You can see the advertisers make sure that when you go through whether it's a truck, whether it's a trailer, a display, whatever it is, you see the advertisers, they get their recognition from pumping into the different persons on the parade. So it's nice, but it ain't no Junkanoo. It ain't Junkanoo. It's nice, but it ain't Junkanoo. But the next day I was supposed to connect that night online. This lady who I did a pageant with in 2009 was like, "Are you in my country?" And I was like, "I am. We should do something the next day." So the next day we're checking out, and all the ladies are going to the airport to wait because I don't leave till 6 o'clock. So her and I are gonna do something that day. She did not message me back, and they were like, it's 11 o'clock, you have to leave. So again, I said, Amara from Connecting, she curated the entire Aruba experience. So if you ever want to go to Aruba, make sure to connect with Amara from Connecting. And she was like, you can just hang with me till your friend calls you back. She never did. So Amara and I went to a local restaurant. That was really good. We also did the food tour the day before with Amara, like I said, with the empanadas. So we went to a local restaurant and we had a great time, and I left Aruba that day. I just want to say it was just really, really great. It was a really great experience. And one of the lessons that I want to take away from this is apply for free things. I have traveled, like when I was on that trip, I realized I've traveled for free a lot. Almost in my whole life, I've had different opportunities where I traveled for free, but just look out for opportunities and apply. I wanna say, network with other women, make networking something that you do often, because you never know what experience you'll have. I probably invested maybe $3,500 into going to ROI, and I received my ROI in less than a month, because that experience was over a $5,000 experience that I got for free. So I just want to tell you to network, keep your eyes open, and continue to just explore what can happen, because that experience was just unforgettable. Let me know in the comments below what stood out for you. If you're interested in going to Aruba, and if you have any questions about having these kinds of experiences for free, can't wait to see you guys next week. I am sitting here just so grateful for all God is doing. It's just the second month of 2023. I've already been to Puerto Rico, Aruba, countries I've never visited before. And I'm just super grateful. I am on this retreat, and last week, Thursday, this wasn't even on my radar. It wasn't a possibility. And I'm an all expense paid. Well, I paid for my flight, but everything else paid in Aruba. This is crazy, but it's God. Crazy faith. He told me to move at the end of the year. And he told me this year my word was obedience. And we're like a month and a half into the year of 2023, and I am already seeing how my obedience is just working out for God's favor.